Well, Koob, the Batman Part 2 has been delayed yet again. This is incredibly depressing news.
Yep,
What was your initial reaction when you heard that?
felt like it was inevitable. On the bright side, this movie does release like 6 days before my birthday, so it's like an early birthday present for me now.
I spoke to one or two friends and they were like, I just can't take this anymore. But you're all right with it. You just took it in stride.
Yeah, the top comment on the Reddit thread is just kill me already.
I was incredibly depressed to hear this news. Not angry, just really feeling defeated. It's like, oh, not again. When you're really looking forward to something and it's delayed and it's delayed and it's delayed. The previous two delays were a whole year each. This new delay adds another 4.5 months to the wait.
Yeah,
Is Matt Reeves being paid by the hour? James Gunn claims it's because J.J. Abrams' sci-fi fantasy movie The Great Beyond is moving from its original release date of November 13th to October 1st, 2027. Hence, The Batman Part 2 has to move again. Do you buy that?
it's crazy. I've never heard of this movie.
James Gunn wants us to believe that because J.J. Abrams' movie is behind schedule, it now has to take the Batman Part 2 spot. Why? Why not move J.J. Abrams' movie into February next year and let Matt Reeves keep his spot? His movie's already been delayed twice already. Why delay it a third time and upset all the fans that have been patiently waiting for this thing? It doesn't make sense to me.
There's probably some underlying factor that James Gunn just isn't mentioning. It's got to be something more than the great beyond.
Are you saying that James Gunn isn't being entirely honest with people? I don't believe a word of what he's saying because it does not make sense to me. I've heard some people say, well, it's because there's two DC movies releasing next year and they don't want two in the same year. Well, what's happening this year? Supergirl in June and Clayface in October. And what would have happened next year? Superman 2 in July, Batman in October. So why are they happy with it this year, but not happy with it next year? Again, it makes no sense. Do you want to know my theory about what's really going on?
What?
I think it's because Matt can't finish on time.
Yeah, I mean, it took him forever to get this script written.
The shoot is scheduled to wrap this November. That would give them 10 months to edit and complete the VFX post-production. Now, editors cut the movie while the production is still filming, but it can take up to 3 months. For a movie with extensive VFX, it can take up to 7 months. Pickup shots and reshoots can take as much as 3 months if you've reached peak MCU incompetence. However, Matt didn't need reshoots for the Batman, just a few pickup shots, and they only took 3 weeks to shoot. And then you need sound design, scoring, and color grading. That can take up to 3 months. In total, post production took 12 months for the Batman. So Matt probably wouldn't have enough time to complete with only 10 months to spare.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I believe that this movie's being delayed yet again. There simply isn't enough time to get it out for the release date next year. But why would James Gunn not be honest? So the Batman has been delayed 3 times now. It was originally set to release on October 3rd, 2025. Then it was delayed to October 2nd, 2026. Then it was delayed again to October 1st, 2027. Now it's been delayed yet again to February 18th, 2028. And of course, James Gunn reeled off the various movies over the years that's been delayed by 6 years or longer. And there's been quite a few, like Alien to Aliens, Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2, Terminator 1 to Terminator 2. It's a bit of a different situation for the Batman Part 2, though. Unlike those movies that Gunn mentioned, the Batman Part 2 was announced officially shortly after the Batman released. Whereas those movies that Guy's quoting, the studios never set a firm release date shortly after they released. They were films that they returned to years down the road. So I feel like James Gunn is being a bit disingenuous with his comments.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves tried to soften the blow by dropping a camera test exclusively on Vimeo.
Vimeo?
Yep.
Oh my.
What's your honest reaction to the clip?
Oh, it's fire. I like
Yeah,
it.
you do.
It's fire.
I'm a bit underwhelmed by it, to be honest.
It feels like you're just saying that because you're pissed off and you just want a movie to come out. Justifiably so, but
Not at all. I am upset about the delay, but that has nothing to do with this test footage. I'll tell you why I'm not digging this camera test. First of all, it's snowing, right?
yeah.
It's clearly fake snow. It's clearly CGI. It's heavy snow, right? But none of it is actually interacting with Batman. Realistically, the snow should be settling on Rob's head and shoulders. And if it's too warm for that, well, then his suit should be wet as the snow melts.
Yeah.
This looks incredibly fake. Now, it is a camera test. It's not the final form, but I would say this is a fail of a camera test. And I would not show this to the public. The general viewer, they're probably not going to know why they feel this way, but they're going to think this doesn't look good. This doesn't look convincing. Something's not right about this footage. They're going to think it looks cheap.
Those people are idiots if they think this is the finished product.
Yeah, but you can't blame the public for thinking that way. They're not filmmakers. They're just going by their gut.
They think this is the finished product. I'm sorry, but like you are an idiot.
Well, in the video game industry, they've learned not to release early footage of a game to the public. Even when they put it at the bottom of the screen, early, unfinished gameplay, you still get millions of people saying, this game looks terrible. Look at the state of it. It's just how people are. So now the video game industry doesn't do that anymore. It actually damages the product. And it doesn't matter if they're idiots. You still want them to watch your movie. You still want to make money from as many people as possible. There's another problem with this footage as well. There's no cold breath from Rob. I watched The Acolyte on Disney Plus. Terrible show, by the way. And I remember there was a character on a cold, snowy planet, and there was no breath from her. And it immediately looks fake. They filmed on an LED stage, just like what's going on here. The actress didn't even look cold. No breath, no shivering. It looked cheap, but it wasn't. They had a massive budget for that show. And this is what this looks like. This looks like a cheap Disney Plus show. He clearly is on a stage because he doesn't look cold. You know, when people are actually in a real cold environment, they don't have to be shivering, but you just pick it up that they're actually cold. There's no breath coming out of his mouth. Another giveaway that it's not real. You know, when Tim Burton was making Batman Returns, that entire movie was set bound, but they turned down the temperature control as low as it could go. And everyone was sitting there with winter clothing on, and it was summer outside. And they had signs posted up saying, no one open a door, because as soon as they would open a door, all the cold air would go out. But what it did is it solved the idea that they were actually in a cold environment. And also, in certain scenes, the actors would inhale a gas that they could then expel, and it would look like cold breath coming out of their mouths. And all those things together, actually having the actors feel cold because you're refrigerating the set and having the fake breath, that's what sells the winter setting. This camera test doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, I guess they threw it together pretty quickly.
And I think the only reason we've probably got this is because they wanted to throw out something to appease the fans and soften the blow of yet another delay. But we expect it to look a lot more convincing when the movie releases. Does the bat suit look any different to you?
Um, Not that I can tell.
Matt Reeves confirmed to a fan on social media that the ears are longer, but honestly, I can't tell a difference. I'd like to know how much longer they are. Are we talking millimeters? Here's a comparison shot. You've got the original on the right and the camera test on the left. Remember, this film takes place just a month after the first movie. So I think it's reasonable to expect the suit not to change. Just tweaks, really. The stitching from the ears down the side of the face was slightly offset on the original count, but on the new one, it follows a straight path down to the mouth opening. If you look at the original, the stitching comes down from the ear and then it sort of takes a turn just before joining the corner of the mouth opening. But on the new cowl, the stitching path follows the ear straight down to the mouth opening.
Yeah.
Now, the picture is poor quality and poor lighting, but it looks to me that there's an inward crease just above his cheekbone. But when you look at the original cowl, it's an outward bulge. If I'm right about this, and I hope I'm not, because I find it is unappealing. It gives the effect that the cowl is sort of crinkled up, but I'm just hoping it's just poor lighting, poor angle. Really hard to tell, honestly. The biggest difference for me is the addition of a chin guard. On the original, there was really nothing beneath Rob's chin, but you can clearly see on the new cowl that there's actually a guard there now.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I wonder what other tweaks we'll see on the rest of the suit once it's revealed.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Because I thought the suit was pretty much perfect as is. I didn't really need any changes. And then we get this logo.
It's cool.
This is the logo that I saw on the camera equipment that they're using. I wonder if it'll appear this way in any of the marketing. Will they try to emulate Batman 89 by just showing this logo and the Roman numeral above it? Be interesting to find out.
Only time will tell.
February 18th, 2028. Do you think we'll get another delay before then?
Maybe, I mean, it's like a long time between now and February 18th.
I feel like a beaten dog now. I'm just sort of expecting it. Once they started filming, I was like, we're all right now. It's not going to get cancelled at this point, like people kept predicting. They're actually filming it. We're underway. Because there's been other productions where they actually cancelled it. Warner Bros. This is like a day or two before filming was going to take place. Superman Lives, the Tim Burton directed Superman movie starring Nicolas Cage, they were just a day or two away from filming in Sydney, Australia. The sets were built, the costumes were built. They'd hired all the actors. Everything was ready to roll. Warner Brothers had sunk millions into pre-production, and then they pulled the plug. Knowing that, I was a little worried every time we got a delay. But when they started officially filming, then I thought, well, we're safe now. Nothing can go wrong at this point. And here we are with yet another delay. So anything's possible at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed again. You know what'd be the worst thing? They Batgirl it. They finished the whole movie and they've only got to do some VFX, and James Gunn pulls the plug. And he's like, we're just going to do a tax write-off. I cannot possibly see it happening, but it would just be the worst thing in the world, wouldn't it? Knowing there's a virtually completed Batman movie out there of high quality, not like Batgirl, which they said was unwatchable and would damage the brand, but actually something of substance. And then they can it. And then James Gunn's like, not to worry, guys. The DCU Batman is on its way.
Oh.
Well, you're taking it better than me, Coop.
Yeah.
Commendable.
I'm used to disappointment in my life, so I guess another disappointment just means nothing to me.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first video we've done where I've been down on something Batman related because I've normally got plenty of positive things to say, but I don't see anything good about this, and I don't see a bright side to any of it, honestly. It's just yet another delay, and that's all there is to say. So, next episode, we'll be talking about more positive things because we'll be concluding our film commentary on Batman Begins. So, just hang with us.